Hi everyone, today in this video we're going on in our marathon that we have been talking about, that is obviously how trying to have in account all the pieces that can make us do decisions that are based, and mainly when we tend to do decisions that are based we tend to do bad decisions, and so bad outcomes as well can be expected, and we, as every other type of species, we always get, or at least we expect to get as much as possible of revenues coming from our environment, and for that we're depending of taking good decisions. And so I'm always with the objective to try to explain the piece, how it affects you by being as most illustrative as I can using examples, and obviously when you're more susceptible and how to fight it. And what's going to be the piece today? We're going to talk about the endowment effect. And what is the endowment effect? Mainly gonna give just an example. Have you ever tried to sell something you own and felt that buyers were offering way too little? So basically, is if you already catch you by doing action of selling to other one, obviously looking for something back, obviously, and you kind of get a feeling that they will giving too much love for the real value of what is, so your perception of value. And so the reality is that the endowment effect is a cognitive beast, because can exist so distortion between my perception of value and what is the perception of value of the other one. And so the nourishment effect is a cognitive beast where we tend to overvalue things simply because we own them. In other words, it's basically we place a higher price in what belongs to us compared to its actual market value. And it's something that, yes, can make and can create bad things for you. So, other example, can use it in when I have a used car that obviously by the devaluation that has already happened, because when you use a car, just if you not use it, but just after a moment you buy, the car already drops in the price in a good amount. And then so probably imagine this, if you're selling a old car that is attached with good memories, feelings that people don't buy it, but you have an accountant, so you increase the value of the material, kind of adding artificial value. That's what's most of the times the beast tends to create, and they tend to create artificial value. But so imagine you're selling your old car, it's been with you for years, you have had great growth tribes, you have taken good care of it, you list it for some thousands. You are, but probably these 10,000, if you're gonna see what's gonna be the real amount that buyers are kind of hoping to buy, they just probably they're hoping to buy like the half of it. And so you feel offended even sometimes, because my car is in great condition, why don't they see the real value? I have so good experience, but experience is not something that it kind of goes directly for the people that will use it, and neither needs, just because it's just something that it's not like cause effect that you have kind of got so good experience using that card that other ones by being in, they're gonna so have as well a good experience. Neither this is something that's true, but you kind in your mind has like this perception that's true, and so you're gonna have to ask for more money because you're aggregating value in your perception for the other one. And so the reality is that we have to get in count that artificial value, it's not real value, and sometimes so distortions happen between what's my perception, what's perception of other one, and sometimes so creates emotions that should not exist. I should not be offended by it. The reality is that doesn't have the value of what I'm trying to do, and this can happen as well for real estate. Common example of this happens in real estate as well. Homeowners often overestimate the value of their house, and that's something that we see a lot of today. That's because that's one of the reasons for, if you see, the houses today are so much overpriced, because the people that have these type of things, they overestimate a lot the value of their house because of emotional attachment. It's probably one of, you see, of all the objects that exist that exists is like one of them that most type of artificial value these band this type of bees tends to increase so in value, and so sometimes it's bad for economy. People want to and want to left from their houses. Probably people want their get to get left from the houses of their parents, and they want to get a new house. But people are so attached to this because a house is when you have families, kids, is when you pass the most of the time in your life, probably in terms of ratio with people that you really do like, and people so they praise it a lot, and that's so it's where one of the most type of things that we see that these bees tends to happen, and sometimes so can create not so just distortions in the negotiation but as well in the proper economy that the items that are included on. So when we're more susceptible to that, when we have personal attachment, things that we got more like personal attachments, like things that we get and past good times as cars or as probably as well so houses, other things, probably sometimes phones as well. People that kind of get these attachments to phones, and so we have a lot more probability to suffer with this bees when we have personal attachment. The more emotional connected we are to something, the stronger the bees, because so more less logical reasoning we're adopting to evaluating the bees, more we're using so the emotions, so which less logical and more for the side of emotions we're going up, so you're gonna have a higher probability to be beast. And so then other things, sense of ownership, so things that are yours obviously, so even just thinking of something as ours can trigger these effects. Studies show that people start valuing things more after honing them for just a few minutes, and that's something that's really important. And if you see it, get this strategy, because these bees they're used a lot by people in marketing. See how they use it. You already have seen like the model of business premium that they give you the value without so making you already have to pay. They give your value for free, and you just buy having the experience of using to free, and just so if you don't pay you're not gonna have it, you're gonna so increase the perception of value about this item in comparison if you not had experience. So they prefer to give to you some of the value that they have created by amount of time for free, just because they play with these bees that make so people having a higher type of perception of value in comparison if they didn't any other type of experience with the item. So they prefer to give you for free just by amount of time, just you to suffer with these bees, because it in long term will increase your probability to buy it again, and so they are open to do it. And then so it's a good strategy, because what's bees? Bees is like psychology, it's like psychology, learning that psychology gets, and obviously people, what is like the main predictor that makes someone makes the decisions, the way their psychology is structured, and so they play with how our psychology is made, and so that's why a lot of the bees we tend to see in the market, and they use it to market their products. And obviously so when we're more susceptible as well with other bees, when we tend to have a lot of loss aversion. So losing something we own feels worse than gaining something of equal value. That's so another reason for why this bees is something that happens. And so now that we have understood why it's something that happens, we now have to get how to overcome it. So bees are like what? Bees. So just having a specific point of view about situations, just being in a present state with a lot of emotions and not logical reasoning. And that specific one that we have seen, it's what? Being too much in the position of the people that owns, and not the one that in the other side, the buyer. So it's like not having empathy about what's the real situation that people perceive when they're gonna buy it, get it, something that's mine. Then they not so value the things that I value, and so we are different people, we have different experiences. And so how to overcome it is like the same, how to use to have more empathy, putting in your position of the other one. And so think like a buyer. Ask yourself, if I didn't own this, how much would I actually pay for it? It's like one of the best ways that you can use it. And so when you do this, we really so good you really got. So what's the real value that someone's gonna go to buy? What's the perception, the real perception? And so you become less busy. You're gonna so expect, gonna so it's more expectable. So for you, what's gonna be the feedback that they really give to you, and not just getting deluded by the emotional feelings that you have towards your thing that the other ones don't value. Obviously, so compare market prices. It's something that doesn't so make you fall in the artificial value that you can put in your product. So seeing that it costs a bit more than what reality does, and what's the reference level is what other ones that sell as well similar products they buy it. So research real world values to avoid emotional inflation. Get a second option, ask a neutral third party for an honest valuation too. Is as well one of the best ways so that you can not face with the artificial value then showcase these inflections of the value that what you have, that it's not something that matches with other ones think. And so imagine it's someone else. It's basically that is always trying to attach from your point of view that have your experience that's valid, but if you want to sell to other ones, you're trying to convince other one to do the action. You have to put the position of other one and try to understand what so makes the other one buy it, and then so you're gonna be more clear. So basically it's that is learning. You have to do, it's like a skill that you have to practice. So I expect the endowment effect makes us more makes you by knowing it now a bit more rational, and I expect I have helped you, and I hope you as well to help me by subscribing and seeing the other videos to make you better. So see you in the next one.